Get on Team Shack with WinBet. We're playing parlays, boosting odds, and laying the wildest prop bets. Don't miss another game. Download the WinBet sport betting app today.
Sign up today and win $200 in free bets when you place a $50 first-time wager on a straight bet or parlay. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in a state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Hello and welcome back to the Tennis Podcast. I've missed you so much. This is the show where we cover top 10ish lists. Every week, either myself or my sidekick host bring a top 10ish list on anything and everything, and the other person tries to guess without knowing that list ahead of time. Today, my guest sidekick host is Lindsay Valenty. Lindsay is a pro podcaster as a co-host of the Ye Olde Crime podcast and the Pineapple Pizza podcast, two podcasts I've been a guest on in the past. Lindsay, how are you today?
I am good. How about yourself?
Not great, but I'd love you to tell the lovely folks at home, tell the folks at home more about you and your podcasts.
Sure. So I am one of the hosts of the Ye Olde Crime podcast, where we discuss funny, strange, and obscure crimes pre-1900s. And for Pineapple Pizza podcast, I am one of three hosts, where we discuss myths, cryptids, and urban legends from different regions around the world.
Yep. Like I said, I was a guest on both of those pods, actually. Most recently, Pineapple Pizza. I do have to admit, that's probably my favorite of the two. I love them both, but today I listened to the episode on the jackalope.
The jackalope, yeah.
That was so funny. I loved that episode.
Yeah.
So yes, both are great podcasts if you're into true crime, history, and especially cryptids on the Pineapple Pizza. So, Lindsay, I'm glad you could be here today. For our return on episode 176, and you have brought a list for me to correctly guess all 10 in a row. So go ahead and tell me what that list is.
Sure. I kind of want to do something historic based, but all the stuff that was related to my show, I just could not find quantifiable data on it to a point where it wouldn't make any sense. So instead, I chose to do top 10 animals descended from dinosaurs that still exist today.
Top 10 animals descended from dinosaurs. I love it. You know, I was just talking to Dr. Buster, who's been on the show a lot recently, and he'll be on again, spoiler. But we were just talking about, we want to do a dinosaur episode, but we couldn't think of a good list for it. So I'm glad you brought this. Can you tell me how the ranking is done? What qualifies for the top 10?
Okay. So it was kind of hard to rank, but I did it based off of the most common animals that still exist. And then the ranking element is based off of how old the original creature was. So the older the creature, the higher up in the rankings it'll be.
The longer it's been walking this beautiful earth of ours is the higher it will rank. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any sources to shout out to?
The information I pulled was from the Blue Reef Aquarium Hastings website, BBC Earth, far and wide, and then I did tons of Googling.
Of course.
So
the only regret I have is number probably 2 or 3 on this list. We actually know Brandon is not here today, but I know he was around during dinosaur times, and he's still kicking today. So it would have been perfect if we could have had him here for this. But alas, we will continue.
Yes.
Okay. I'm nervous about this list.
I think once we get going, you'll be okay.
Okay.
But I am going to give you one of them because it's a single creature that I didn't know about ahead of time. So I'm pretty sure most people will not have known about it either. So if that's cool.
We'll save that one. Yeah.
We'll save that one.
So there's a couple obvious ones that come to mind. And I'm going to try to save those too. Because it's probably, when you said this list, so these are animals that are alive today that were also alive or descended from animals alive during the dinosaur times or from dinosaurs.
Yep.
And when you say that, immediately everyone's going to think of, about the first animal they think of, I know. So I'm going to try to save that. Are insects included on this list?
No.
No.
It's something that has
multiple...
You do
know what an insect is, right?
Yes, it has multiple legs. I'll give you that. But it is not an insect.
So like a centipede is an insect.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, a centipede is an insect, but it is not on this list.
Okay. Okay, how about a turtle? Like a sea turtle's tortoise.
Sea turtles are number 6 on the list.
I knew it.
So sea turtles evolved 230 million years ago from land and freshwater turtles during the Cretaceous period. The oldest turtle species, and I'm going to butcher all of these scientific names because that's just how I roll.
That's kind of my thing, too. That's just part of the Tennis Podcast charm is drastically mispronouncing names and words.
Yep.
That's okay.
I'm just bringing the same flavor.
Yeah.
The Odontochilus cimetostacea from the Triassic period.
Oh, that old guy.
Mm-hmm. You know the one.
Yeah, of course.
The oldest sea turtle fossil was Descendants padilliae, and it was discovered in Colombia. And that one is at least 120 million years old.
Okay.
And I have 3 more kind of funnish facts about sea turtles. So originally, they were over 4 meters long and 5 meters wide, which is 13 feet long and 16 feet wide from tip to tip of their flippers.
Why? I don't necessarily think, maybe you will, but you might not have this in your notes, but why were animals so much bigger back then as compared to today?
I don't know. Okay. It's just crazy to me because, like all these creatures, I Googled like however big the biggest one was, and I'm like, how are they that big? Yeah. Why?
I don't know, because it feels like every time I hear about an animal, like the giant squid is another one that was around millions of years ago. Some bitch is like as big as a ship.
Yeah.
Why? And what happened?
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder if they're still down there somewhere.
Yeah. The ocean freaks me out.
Yeah.
Fuck space. The ocean is terrifying.
When I was on Pineapple Pizza, we talked all about the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
And it is fun to think that, I know this isn't the sea turtle, I'm going off on a tangent now, but it's fun to think of, these giant prehistoric creatures still being alive today, and we just don't know, or we don't have proof of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fascinating. But yeah, if I saw what did you say, 13 feet long turtle.
And then 16 feet wide from tip to tip of the flippers. Yeah, that'd be huge.
Nope.
No thanks.
You know that gif of SpongeBob laying in his own grave and covering dirt above himself? Yep. That's me when that thing's coming to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, for the listeners, when I publish this episode, I'll put a link to an image or two of every creature we discuss in the show notes. So just look in the show notes and you'll find a link to this giant-ass sea turtle.
Yep. So last 2 facts, because I was just curious. So there are 7 different species of sea turtles still alive today. And it is estimated that there are around 6.5 million in the wild. But obviously, some of them are endangered and critically endangered, as we all know about sea turtles.
Yes. That's a shame.
It is a shame. Because I think they're really cool.
How many kinds? 7
There's
kinds?
7 kinds, yep.
And what's the biggest? Or how big do they get?
I don't know.
Biggest sea turtle.
It's probably not 13 feet long.
So the biggest sea turtle in the world today is 4 to 6 feet in length.
Significantly smaller than the 13
less than
feet.
Half.
Yeah.
So if I have to have one of them walk over and crush my body on its way to its mommy in the ocean, I'd rather the 4 to 6 feet one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so these guys were around, I think you said 230 million years ago.
Yep.
Did you have any other facts, or is that it?
That's it.
Okay. So the number to beat right now is 230 million years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about the squid? Is today's squid descended from the squids of yesteryear?
It probably is, but it is not on my list.
How many other things live in the sea?
2.
2, okay.
One's questionable. One is is it an insect one?
Well, okay, is that a spider? A type of spider?
No. It has
crab?
It's a crab, yep. Okay, where do you think crabs fall on the list?
Man, well, those sumbitches got pretty big too, I think. I'm sure we'll talk about it. I'm going to say the crab came after the sea turtle. So it would be 7 or higher.
It's actually number 2.
Now, is it really number 2, or are you just trying to sabotage me and you're changing the numbers around on the fly here?
Nope, it's actually number 2. The horseshoe crab, which is technically now related to spiders, which is why I was like, meh.
Yeah,
But
but a
it
spider's
is
not an insect anyway, technically.
technically, yeah. It's from the Ordovician period, which is 445 million years ago.
Wow.
So just a little old.
445 million years is a long time.
Yeah. So crabs are one of the oldest species on Earth. They appeared prior to dinosaurs.
Oh.
And modern day crabs appeared between 200 and 150 million years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And 80% of today's modern crabs evolved from Cretaceous era crabs. I did not look up what the biggest one was because I was a little afraid to, because they're kind of scary.
Yeah, this is the crab that I've seen these at like my local aquarium. They kind of look, or the fossils of one at the local aquarium. They kind of look like a stingray and a crab
Yeah.
mixed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They've got like that like half circle top and then like the stinger at the back, and it's terrifying looking.
Yeah, it is.
And they still exist, which is even scarier. And there are over 4,500 species of crabs all over the world today.
Say it again. How many?
4,500 species of crabs.
Why? Why do we need that many crabs?
I don't know. It's so scary.
There's 7 types of sea turtles alive today, but 4,400 types of crabs? Why?
I don't know. Who spent all that time naming all those crabs? So many crabs. So little time.
I just don't understand. And this guy, I mean, everyone, again, check the show notes for a link to an image of this guy. You don't want this guy crawling up your leg at night in bed, you know? He's a spooky looking guy.
Yeah.
And he does have a stinger, yeah?
Yeah.
Not just the tail?
Yeah.
He's not the crab that pinches you, like, you know, the crab, like Sebastian in
Yeah.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
I think most people, the average person, or maybe I'm an idiot, but when you first look at this thing and you don't know it's called a crab, you wouldn't think it's a crab necessarily. Yeah. Unless you got a good look under the hood, so to speak.
Okay, so I had to look it up because I was like, now I need to know.
Yeah.
The biggest prehistoric crab,
Oh my God.
Titanosaurus guinnessii, existed between 485 and 541 million years ago, with a length of over half a meter. So what's a meter?
A half a meter would be a foot and a half.
Yeah.
Which, for a crab, that's huge.
Yeah.
I was Google searching these things, obviously, and I came across an article. It says horseshoe crab blood is the miracle vaccine ingredient that saved millions of lives. And there's a photo of crab butts, I think, or crab heads. Well, I don't know which side. And there's a straw coming out of it with blue blood into bottles.
I don't like it.
It says the blood is bright blue and it contains important immune cells that are exceptionally sensitive to toxic bacteria. Yeah, so apparently blood from these crabs are in vaccines.
I mean, that's great to know, but also, why?
Is it? Good to know. And I want to know, who's the first person to look at this crab and say, you know what? Let's try sticking its blue blood inside our veins and see what happens.
Right?
I always wonder that with everything. Food, like the first person to eat a chicken egg, but this especially, I don't understand.
I don't get it.
You're going to catch me not understanding a lot of things on this episode, I think.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. That's the horseshoe crab. I wouldn't want to kiss him, but he does have a hell of an ass on him.
This is true.
Okay. Is there another crustacean on the top 10?
No.
What about a shark?
Sharks? Where do you think it falls?
Because I know the megalodon was around.
Mm-hmm. Sharks are on the list. Where do you think it falls?
I want to say pretty relatively recent, so maybe 9 or 10?
It's actually number 1.
What the hell? Lindsay, I'm supposed to be a top 10 list expert. It's okay to just fudge the numbers and tell me I got it right.
I mean, it was totally 9. It was totally 9. You got it right.
Let's look at the positive side. I guessed correctly number 1 pretty quickly here.
You did.
That's pretty cool.
You did.
Yeah.
So sharks are from 450 million years ago during the Silurian period. And, okay, the Cladocelluc, which is recognized as the first true shark.
The clitoris? The what?
The clitoris? No one could find it. There's only one fossil.
Very elusive fossil that they're still looking for.
They can't find it. They know it existed, but no one's ever seen it.
Yeah.
The Cladocelic. So it's...
Okay.
Yeah. Which is recognized as the first true shark, existed 380 million years ago. It had a fish-like head, 7 gills, as opposed to the 5 that most sharks have today, and had a long body with no scales or armored plates.
I'm looking at what I think this picture is, and it has kind of a... Oh, man.
It's weird looking.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a really long, skinny fish.
Yeah, I wouldn't think this was a shark
No.
at first glance.
No.
It's so fascinating that millions of years go by and it evolves into what we know today.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously, sharks have been around longer than dinosaurs. They have survived every major extinction that we've had for dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, the megalodon was one of the largest to ever exist, at between 15 and 18 meters in length, or 49 to 59 feet.
Is everyone taking that in out there?
Yeah.
A 50-foot shark.
Yeah.
That's half the size of a blue whale, but it's a shark.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem necessary, God or whomever.
No.
But all right.
No. So this estimate is made based on the size of the animal's teeth, since a complete megalodon skeleton has never been found.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. The teeth averaged 18 centimeters long, or about 7 inches, which is, a respectable length.
Yeah, well, depends on who you're asking.
Depends. For comparison, the size of a great white shark's tooth is on average 3 inches long.
So more than double the largest shark today.
Yeah.
Or one of the largest.
And the megalodon was estimated to be 3 times larger than a great white.
Oh, God. You don't want to come across a megalodon.
No.
It's a good thing. I mean, again, who knows what's still out there in the deep, dark ocean, but
yeah,
it would definitely change your beach plans if you came across one of them. I haven't seen that movie, The Meg, with Jason Statham. Is it any good? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah. Okay.
I probably should.
Yeah, I just assume that's where you got all of your shark facts from.
I just like Shark Week.
Yeah.
And last shark fact, to date, there are more than 400 varieties of sharks in the world and an estimated billion or so living in the ocean.
Few things. First of all, 400 is still unnecessary, but far more reasonable than the 4,400 types of crabs. Okay?
Exactly.
And secondly, a billion sharks in the ocean. I wish I remembered the exact stat, but I read one time that when you're swimming at the beach, like the average depthness that the average person goes out in the water in the beach, there are sharks around you a lot more often than you would think. They just leave us alone.
Yeah.
That makes sense when you think there's a billion.
Yeah, I mean, and not every shark species eats big mammals either. Like there are a bunch that are like bottom feeders. They only eat smaller, like plankton and things like that. So, I mean, everyone's idea of a shark is usually like the great white or a hammerhead. And those aren't always like hanging out at the beach.
And you're right about bottom feeders, but please don't bring my first wife into this.
I'm so sorry. I touched a nerve. Sorry.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah. The tiger shark is small, but very common, I know.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all the great white, but I still think about that movie, Open Water.
No.
It's a big no from me.
No.
Okay. That's the shark. Around longer than dinosaurs.
Yes.
I guess I forgot that.
Yeah, because everything came from the water. So it makes sense.
Well, I've been kind of hanging on to these, but I guess it's time to whip them out of my back pocket here. And let's start with the bird. I know the bird is descended from dinosaurs. So let's go with number 3 as the bird.
So there are 2 birds on my list.
Oh, they're specific birds.
So there's probably the most common birds that are associated with it, and then there's a larger bird that is associated with them.
So the larger bird is the, what do they call that? All right. You'll just have to tell me.
The smaller and probably most common known bird associated with dinosaurs is the chicken,
Oh, yeah.
and that is number 7 on the list.
Oh, I think I know what the other one is. Okay, so 7 is the chicken.
Yep. So descended from theropods, or two-legged dinosaurs.
Mhm.
They first appeared 220 million years ago during the Carnian age of the late Triassic period. Scientists recently discovered the oldest known modern bird fossil that dates back to 67 million years ago. And it's theorized that this species, which lived on the ground and weighed under a pound, survived because it didn't live in the trees like other birds that ended up dying out during the asteroid strike and the wildfires that resulted.
That makes sense. And
Yep.
it's so tiny, it could hide in a little crevice somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And today, domestic chickens are the closest living relative of the Tyrannosaurus rex.
I love that.
I know. It's like one of my favorite facts is like, yeah. We eat you.
Yeah, we eat you now, T-Rex. Take
Yep.
that. I
Take
do
that.
love the T-Rex is like the all-time biggest badass in the animal kingdom. And I know some nerd out there saying, well, the Spinosaurus was bigger, whatever the fuck. T-Rex is the one that everyone knows. It's the famous one.
Yep.
And to see that today in a little chicken that says bok, bok, bok all the way home. Oh, wait, I mixed two things there, but you get it.
Yep.
Life is funny.
It's just funny. To date, there are more than 500 different breeds of chickens worldwide. And in 2020, obviously things have changed since the pandemic started, but there was an estimated 33 billion chickens living in the world.
We better hope that none of them figure it out. We better hope that none of them start putting 2 and 2 together.
They bok all their way home, and then we're fucked.
All you need is one of those chickens from the movie Chicken Run. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yep.
But they start talking and planning. And by the way, they say, did you know there's 33 billion of us motherfuckers all around the earth? All we got
if we just unionize.
Right. Yeah. 33 billion chickens.
It was just crazy.
1 billion sharks and 33 billion chickens. Okay.
Yep.
I have to think 33 billion chickens, at least 31.5 billion of those are owned by Tyson Chicken
Probably.
in America and are turned into chicken nuggets. But okay, that's the chicken. The other bird, is it the ostrich?
It is the ostrich.
At number 5.
It's actually at number 10.
Okay, I knew it.
You had it. You were right there.
Yeah. You just said number 10 before I could say it. Like, it was coming out.
I just jumped the gun.
Absolutely. That's your bad, not mine.
I know. I should know better. I should know better. So ostriches are from 66 to 56 million years ago, and they actually originated in Asia, although they live almost exclusively in Africa today.
Yeah.
I thought this was hysterical. There is a debate on whether or not the ostrich devolved from a bird that could fly to the flightless bird that it is today.
Huh.
So they're not quite sure if it like evolved backwards or if it
Is
just
that a
stopped
thing?
evolving. I don't know. That's like the weirdest thing to hear. But
I don't know, listeners, the last time you looked up or saw an ostrich, but look it up, click the link in the show notes, get a good zoom in on its face. It's not a pretty bird. And they're mean.
they're so mean.
Yeah.
Have you seen one go to the bathroom?
Yes.
It is the weirdest thing I have ever seen.
Uh-huh.
I have a distinct memory from my childhood of going to the Sioux Falls Zoo in South Dakota. I was like 7, 8 maybe. And it was the first exhibit when you walk in the door from their creepy taxidermy museum that they got going on there. You walk through the door, look to the left, ostrich go in the bathroom. And it was like a bucket like came out of the ostrich to go to the bathroom. It was the weirdest thing I have ever seen in my life. I remember turning to my parents and being like, did you see that? And neither of them had, and they didn't believe me. And this was before Google. So, of course, like, I had no way of proving, like, hey, go to the bathroom again, ostrich, so I can prove to my parents that I'm not crazy. Oh, my God.
I'm sure you've listened to this show, so you might be familiar with the scientific theory of body elves controlling all of our bodily functions.
Yeah.
That's a theory that our regular sidekick host, Brandon, put forth, and it's got some debate in the scientific community now on the validity. But I do imagine the body elves in an ostrich that are pulling the levers to make a bucket's worth just splash out of the urinary tract. Some overtime involved there. And are the body elves, do they resemble ostriches in any way? These are questions that science will have to answer someday. I have a semi-related story. This is not ostriches, it's elephants, but it's burned in my memory. I went to the zoo. I was probably 13, 14, somewhere in there. There was an elephant pissing, and it was a sustained bucketful's worth of piss, but it was catching the piss in real time with its trunk and feeding to its mouth with the piss.
God.
So I have to imagine if ostriches had trunks, it'd probably do the same. But we don't know.
I mean, they've got that long neck, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
They could just enjoy R. Kellying themselves. We don't know.
We don't know.
Who's to say?
But the good thing is, I hope that there's not 33 billion ostriches on the planet right now.
No, but
that
I
might concern me.
do have some numbers for you, though.
Okay.
So I have more ostrich facts. So ostriches are said to have evolved from ratites, which include the emu, the cassowary, rhea, and the kiwi, which are all flightless birds.
Yep.
They are the only living bird with just 2 toes, which I did not realize.
2 toes. Okay, I've got to look at an ostrich foot now. Ostrich foot. Yep, it does have 2 toes.
It's the only living bird with 2 toes. And I could be wrong about this, but when I was reading about it, I feel like it said that it uses the inner toes to kind of rev it up when it's running. Don't they go up to 55 miles per hour or something crazy like that?
They're fast.
Terrifying.
They're fast. I remember in our Fastest Animals episode, we talked about ostriches being fast. I'm looking. Ostriches can run up to 43 miles per hour.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, that's faster than the speed limit on most of the side roads by my house. So an ostrich is going faster than that. Yeah.
Oh my God. Terrifying. Whew. So thankfully, there are only 2 varieties of ostrich. The common ostrich and the Somali ostrich. Of those 2, there are around 150,000 ostriches that live in the wild.
150,000 ostriches, 33 billion chickens. I think I know which bird we like to eat more as people. Yeah.
I mean, ostriches are harder to catch, man. If they're going 43 miles per hour, are you going to be chasing after that thing?
No. But people do eat ostrich.
They do.
I mean, it's much rarer, but I know ostrich burger is the thing, and their eggs are highly sought after.
Yeah, you can feed 5 people with an ostrich egg. They're crazy.
Think about how big an ostrich is. I think they can get up to 5-6 feet tall. And the egg is big. It's like a basketball.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
What if humans laid eggs? I mean, I know women, there are eggs involved, but I mean, as far as externally laying an egg in a nest,
that would be
keeping them
so
warm.
Painful.
It's already painful.
I mean, the whole process is already is super painful, but yeah.
I like to imagine, think about the typical American home, master bedroom.
Yep.
You got your bed, maybe a queen size bed. Some people will have the king, might have a TV in there, a dresser, and across from the dresser, you have a little nest area on the ground. Mom walks over there, squats down, lays an egg, and then comes to bed. And you're sitting there watching Seinfeld or something in TV, absentmindedly, reading a book, whatever. There's egg birthing happening on the other side of the room, but it's just normal.
Or conversely, if we were like sea turtles and you just had a sand pit in your bedroom.
Sure.
And you just dug a little hole and then had the eggs come out and then just covered it back up and you left it alone for a while. And then all of a sudden the baby crawls out of the sand. This got real weird, but I like it.
I mean, it's more exciting, more interesting than the way babies are born now. If our human babies are crawling out of the sand, there's a horror movie idea for anyone listening. You're welcome.
It's so terrifying. Oh my God. That's going to live rent free in my nightmares for a while.
You're welcome. So I got the 2 birds, right?
Yep. No more birds.
Shopify is the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. And I love it because Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources that were once reserved for big businesses. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. I don't talk about it a ton, but I have a fishing company. 5 years ago this month, my best friend Aaron and I started a bass fishing weight company called Woo Tungsten, because woo is the sound you make when you catch a giant bass. So we sell tungsten weights for bass fishing, and Shopify has made it so incredibly easy. They have all the tools and the resources that we need. No matter how big or small your business is, they just make it so effortless. And like mine, Shopify powers over 1.7 million businesses from first sale to full scale. And you can reach customers online and across social networks with their ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. And you can gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond, which is something we use a ton. More than just a store, Shopify grows with you. Go to shopify.com/BlueWire, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business today with Shopify. Go to shopify.com/BlueWire right now. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Shopify.com/BlueWire.
When you're smiling. Hey, you. It's me, Michael Bublé, for bubbly sparkling water. Bubbly is crisp, light, and refreshing. It's got taste, and it's perfect for any occasion. Keep on smiling. Kind of like my voice, but in a can. No calories, no sweeteners, all smiles. The whole world smiles with you. Bubbly, crack a smile.
It's Nick here with a brief interruption to remind you that I care about you. I care about your health. And even more importantly, I care about my health. And our next sponsor has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I do care about my health, but I don't have time to care about my health. I bet a lot of you can relate. But AG1 makes it easy. I've been on it for the last several weeks, and I love it. It doesn't taste super healthy, but it has a kind of mild tropical taste that I actually look forward to every morning that I take it. So what is this stuff? With just one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Yes, adaptogens, to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, podcast listening, all the things. I'm not a big coffee drinker. AG1 gives me energy every morning. It's how I start my day. It also helps support my mental clarity and alertness, so I can get through these long recording sessions for you. And you know what else? It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. But don't take my word for it, even though I know you will. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews. But let's get to the good stuff. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/emerging. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/emerging. EMERGING. Go there to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. You can also check the link in the show notes for this episode. Now take a good swig of that AG1 because it's time to get back to the show. Do a quick recap for the listeners of where we stand right now on the list.
Okay, so at number 10, we have ostriches. Number 7, we have chickens. 6 is sea turtles. 2 is crabs, and number 1 is sharks.
Well, the one I've been hanging on to, let's do it. It's the crocodile at number 3.
You are correct.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Smacked it out of the park.
Thank you. I've been doing this a while. Top 10 lists.
You have. So crocodiles are from the early Triassic period, 250 million years ago. The earliest crocodilian evolved 95 million years ago. They actually evolved from an offshoot of the archosaurs, which were the ruling lizards from the early to mid-Triassic period of the Mesozoic era. Crocodiles today are descendants of the Dinosuchus, which lived 82 to 73 million years ago.
My aunt Dilosuchus, of course.
Yep. We all have one. She wears those crazy cat eye glasses with like the chain so it doesn't fall off her head.
Of course. Yeah.
Lipstick that's way too hot for her age.
Yeah. Crocodilian is also an underused word. I wanted to flag that.
It is. I had never really heard it used before, and then I was like, oh, yeah. So during the late Cretaceous period is when crocodiles evolved to look much like they do today, with their stubby legs, armored scales, powerful jaws, and their preference for watery habitats.
Was stubby legs your phrasing, or did you pull that from some website?
I actually pulled that from a website. They called it stubby legs, and I was like...
Stubby just doesn't sound very scientific, but I like it.
It doesn't, and I felt a little bad, but I was like, if the scientists are saying stubby legs, then I'm gonna argue with the scientists.
I'm looking at a picture of a prehistoric crocodile that walked on 2 legs. I don't have the name in front of me. It does look like a crocodile, except the back legs are long, like a typical dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. But aside from that, all the images I'm seeing of prehistoric crocodiles are pretty similar to today, minus the legs being much longer.
Yep.
Why did evolution decide that the legs needed to be shorter and the crocodile belly needed to drag on the floor? It's just...
I don't know. But the Sarcosuchus is a giant relative of the crocodiles, with the fully grown ones estimated to have reached 9 to 9.5 meters, or 29.5 to a little over 31 feet in length.
Wow.
And weigh 3.5 to 4.3 metric tons, or 3.9 to 4.7 short tons in weight.
Nope.
Yeah, no thank you. There are 24 recognized species of crocodilians today, and 2 species of Gavilidae, which are like crocodiles, but they have those really thin snouts.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
There's only 2 species of those, which those are weird looking, but they are also considered crocodilians.
Yeah, the less of those, the better. The fewer of those, the better. In my Google browsing now, I'm seeing an article from Live Science in the headline, and there's a picture of a crocodile taking out a T-Rex. The headline says, Cretaceous terror crocodile crushed dinosaurs with banana-sized teeth.
No, thank you.
No, thank you, yeah. I mean, this thing's taken out a T-Rex. It's bigger than the T-Rex, really, in this image, so I wonder if that's accurate.
No, thanks. That's scary.
So the crocodile is at the top of the show when I mentioned the average listener, probably the first animal that came to mind was a certain animal. I was talking about the crocodile. Because the crocodile, I assume, of all the top 10, because we haven't finished it yet, but I'm going to assume it's the animal alive today that most closely physically resembles a dinosaur.
It's one of 2. There's one other on the list that is pretty dinosaur looking. And that's the one that I was going to give you because I feel like it's one that most listeners probably would not guess.
All right, well, let's do that one now then.
Okay. So that one is the Tuatara, and that comes in at number 4.
Can you spell that for me?
Tuatara.
Okay.
So the Tuatara is the sole survivor of its genetic lineage, the Sphenodontia, and it's from the reptile group Rhynchocephalia. Nailed it.
Yeah.
It's from 240 to 60 million years ago, and it's only found on islands off the coast of New Zealand. Even though it's considered the largest reptile in New Zealand, it's only about 1.5 feet in length. Like
it's a small guy, yeah.
He's little.
He or she,
He or
excuse you.
she, I'm sorry, they are very little, but mighty.
Yes.
Fun fact about them is they have one of the slowest growing rates of any reptile, which is fascinating.
Growing like physically or as a like species growing?
Like physically growing. Like it takes them forever to grow.
Okay,
which makes sense considering they can live up to 100 years old.
Wow.
But they on average live up to 60.
Thinking about these things living 100 years is a weird thing. What a boring life. I'm looking at pictures of these, and in every picture, their mouth is open in such a way that it looks like they're smiling or laughing.
Yeah, they're very cute. And they also have the primitive third eye on the top of their head.
Oh, yeah.
Which there are several lizards that do have that. And for people that don't know what that is, it's kind of like a light sensor. It assists with like their seasonal biological changes, such as a lot of lizards brumate in the winter. So it's kind of like hibernating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a way for them to sense predators from above with that little light sensor thing.
So in the same way that Donald Trump had a button on the White House desk to call for a Diet Coke, this lizard has a sort of button, if you will, on its head to not give it a Diet Coke, but to...
No, like a danger, Will Robinson type of button on top of its head.
Yeah. That's pretty handy. That's nifty.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this is the cutest guy or gal we've covered on the list so far.
For people who have not seen a picture of them yet, they look kind of like an iguana.
From the pictures I'm seeing, I would guess it's about the same size as the iguana, maybe slightly smaller.
Yeah.
It would be the easiest to have as a pet, I think, of the list so far. Other than maybe a chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although the chicken is probably deadlier than this creature.
Exactly. Well, those T-Rex genes.
Yep. Genetically, it just wants to kill you.
So I just need 9, 8, and 5. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. And these are all reasonably common animals that you think I could guess.
2 of them are. One of them might be a little trickier. I will say that 2 of the ones that are left on the list are kind of broader terms.
Okay.
So think like a group of animals.
What about a snake?
Snakes are number 9 on the list.
Okay. I knew it. So right above ostrich.
Yep. Snakes are from 140 million years ago in the late Jurassic period. It's believed that they evolved from an unidentified land-dwelling lizard from the early Cretaceous period that is referred to as a varanid, similar to monitor lizards. Pachyrhacus is among the oldest snakes coming from the Cretaceous period, but it also retained well-developed hind legs, making it a transitional creature from marine lizards to modern snakes. So picture a snake with back legs, which is terrifying.
Oh, maybe you're getting here, so sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but I did a Google search for prehistoric snake, and there's one called the Titanoboa.
Yep.
That is 5 times larger than the modern anaconda.
Yep, that is on my list. Terrifying.
I don't know if I can continue. Like, my mind is just fucking racing with fear and shock and confusion and concern.
I got a little sweaty in this part. Yeah, so the largest prehistoric snakes are Gigantophis from the Eocene epoch, which is 66 to 23 million years ago, that measured 33 feet in length and weighed half a ton. And then its larger cousin, which you mentioned, the South American Titanoboa, which measured over 50 feet in length and weighed a ton from the Middle Paleocene epoch, which is 66 to 56 million years ago.
I got the willies looking at this thing. Like, I don't do snakes well, and the idea of a snake 5 times bigger than the anaconda was already unnecessarily huge. Not necessary. It's a good thing people weren't around during these times.
Yeah.
If we were around, we wouldn't have made it.
No.
Human race would have died off long ago.
Yeah. Today, there are more than 3,000 species of snakes worldwide. I don't know how many billions live in the wild. I did not Google that.
Don't tell us.
Snakes live in every country except Antarctica, Iceland, Greenland, Ireland, and New Zealand.
Ireland and New Zealand.
Yeah,
Guess I know where I'm moving.
Ireland. There you go. It's so beautiful. If you went to New Zealand, you could see the Tuatara if you went to New Zealand.
That's true, but I'd also see, I know they're in Australia, so I assume they're in New Zealand, the bird-eating Goliath spider. Whom
No, thank you.
that balances out the no snakes. Pretty good there.
I don't do well with spiders, so
Me
no,
too.
thank you. The first time I saw a picture of a camel spider, I started crying. I was like, how is this real? It looks like a face hugger.
Camel spider. Oh my god. Why did you do this to me? Oh, oh my god. All right, I'm closing this.
They are literal face huggers. I don't like it.
Huh. Okay. The snake.
So
And
you
again,
got-
the theme of the episode is what we said at the top. All these animals used to be so much bigger back in the day.
Yep.
And it probably has something to do with the evolutionary need to compete with these huge dinosaurs, you know? But I'm no expert. All right, I just need number 8 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no insects, so I won't guess the cockroach.
Mm-mm.
Although I bet he was around back then.
I'm sure he was, yeah.
All right, I'm thinking. Is it a mammal? It can't be a mammal. It's got to be a
Mm-mm.
reptile.
Yep.
A frog.
So a frog is an amphibian.
That's true. This is why I have you here to help me.
I have a reptile species on here, and I have an amphibian species on here. Which one would you like me to give you?
Is it a lizard of some sort?
Lizards are the one that I was
Okay.
getting you towards.
Well,
and that
a
is,
lizard is a reptile. I'm getting
Yep.
all this shit mixed up, but
it's okay.
yeah.
Lizards are number 5 on the list.
Okay.
Lizards developed in the late Triassic period, so 237 to 201 million years ago. There are currently over 4,675 different species of lizards, which
That's
include
the most. That's
yeah,
the most of any animal you've mentioned today.
which includes iguanas, monitors, skinks, geckos, chameleons, and Gila monsters.
Sorry, did you sneak skanks in there?
Skinks,
Skanks?
skink.
I told you we don't need to talk about my first wife on this episode.
I'm sorry. I got to keep bringing her up because it's so funny.
And by the way, I don't have a first wife. It's a joke. Just if everyone's listening, okay?
I got it. I got that it was a joke.
Yeah.
So
All right.
these are different from archosaurs due to the fact that their limbs point out to the sides instead of up and down like a chicken. So that's what makes lizards different from the original archosaurs or archosaurs. Lizards are extremely adaptable, which has led to them being able to survive for so long. The largest species of lizard to ever live was the Megalania, which was a giant monitor lizard that lived in Australia during the Pleistocene era 2.6 million years ago. It could reach a length of 3.5 to 7 meters,
Oh.
or 11.5 to 23 feet, and weigh between 97 to 1,900 kilograms, or 214 to 4,277 pounds.
Wow. This guy is fierce.
Yeah.
It's like a larger, meaner Komodo dragon.
Yep. And actually, its closest living descendant is the Komodo dragon, which can weigh about 154 pounds or 70 kilograms. And the largest on record was able to reach just over 10 feet or 3 meters long and weigh in at 366 pounds or 166 kilograms.
We get it, dude. You're huge. We don't need you bigger.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Komodo dragons are scary looking.
They are scary looking. And I stand corrected. I said the alligator, or actually the crocodile, was the animal that most physically resembled a dinosaur still alive. I take it back. It's the Komodo dragon.
Yeah, they look like something out of a Jurassic Park movie.
I wouldn't want to fuck with them.
No, no. Like, if you see what they feed those things, like, there's no way. No way.
Mhm.
Like, no, I'm good. So you have one more, number 8.
Okay, give me a hint.
Even though a lot of these creatures are kind of smaller, this one still is big. And it is an amphibian.
Amphibian. Just tell me. I can't figure it out.
Giant salamanders.
Okay, so I was on the right track there.
Yep. So giant salamanders are from 170 million years ago during the Jurassic period. The Metaposaurus, which means front lizard, which sounds like someone's nickname for their penis.
You just deadpan that so much. And you're right. The front lizard does sound like someone's name for their penis.
Yep.
Someone that's not cool and doesn't have a lot of penis action would say that.
Check out my front lizard. He's friendly, I swear.
He's no Komodo dragon.
Nope.
He's more like the Tuatara.
Yep. He only spits every once in a while when he likes you.
If anyone out there refers to your penis as a front lizard, just please unsubscribe from the show.
We don't want you here.
Mm-hmm.
The Metaposaurus is an ancestor of the modern-day giant salamander and lived during the late Triassic period. It was mostly aquatic, had small, weak limbs, preach, a large flat head, and sharp teeth. It grew up to 3 meters in length, or 10 feet, and weighed around 450 kilograms, or 1,000 pounds.
And these things are slimy looking.
Yeah.
A salamander today is small little tiny animal.
Yep.
There are giant salamanders, as we're talking about.
Yep. So there are only 3 living species of giant salamanders alive today. The Chinese giant salamander, the Japanese giant salamander, and the American hellbender.
Hellbender?
Which sounds like it should be from a Nickelodeon show.
No, that sounds like it should be the spiritual sequel to Hellraiser.
There you go.
It's the hellbender salamander. It's funny that the salamander, or the giant salamander, descends from dinosaur times, so hundreds of millions of years ago. Yet today, there's only 4 living species of giant salamander around. Doesn't compute to me, because you'd think that there'd be, after millions of years and they've survived all this time, that it would branch out more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, I'm no expert.
Yeah. So they're the largest amphibian in the world. All 3 species are endangered, and there are an estimated 50,000 left in the world. Especially with the Chinese and the Japanese giant salamanders, they can grow up to 6 feet in length and weigh up to 110 pounds, and 60% of their body is just their tail.
And 60% of my body is the front salamander, but we don't need to go there. But
oh, you. Ask your first wife.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting it now. The asteroid that took out the dinosaurs couldn't take out this thing, but now people are taking this thing out because it's endangered now.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yeah, if you look up a picture of Chinese giant salamander, it just looks like the dopiest thing ever.
It reminds me of, what's that Pokemon's name? Slowbro?
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of.
They're just weird looking. And it's funny because I actually have a pet salamander. It is not this big. He's a little guy. I like them because they've got like a Muppet mouth.
Mm-hmm. He does. Or just the pictures of this do. Yeah, it looks like a puppet.
It looks like a Muppet. It is. It's cute. I mean, it's got a face only a mother could love, really. But to me, it's adorable.
I respectfully disagree, but I respect your opinion.
So yeah, that is the top 10 list. You did it.
We did it. And that was a great list because, a few of those are obvious. Everyone's heard of the crocodile. A lot of people have heard of the ostrich. The snake probably isn't a surprise. But the chicken, I'd kind of forgotten about. And the horseshoe crab and the shark. Well, I'll just stop and why don't you go back through the top 10 for us real quick?
Sure. So we've got, starting us off at number 10, the ostriches. Number 9 is snakes. 8 is giant salamander. 7 is chickens. 6 is sea turtles. 5 is lizards. 4 is the tuatara. 3 is crocodiles. 2 is all those crabs. And number 1 is sharks.
Sharks that descend from creatures that lived 450 million years ago, and there's 1 billion sharks in the oceans today.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know.
Yeah.
I pity the fool who doesn't look forward to Tennis Podcast reviews. And that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to read reviews from listeners just like you, just like Mr. T. The first one comes from ShizYD on Apple Podcasts. ShizYD says, "Your show with Dr. Shiloh was so entertaining and she sounds extremely knowledgeable in her field. Great show." Thank you, I agree. Dr. Shiloh, as many know, is co-host of the LA Not So Confidential podcast. She was also a guest sidekick host back on episode 161 of Tennis Podcast, where I quizzed her on the top 10 best true crime documentaries of last year. And spoiler alert, she will be on the show again very soon. One more review here from Cup of Taboo. This one comes from Podchaser. "So glad I found this podcast. Super fun and entertaining. Keep it up. Smiley face." I do agree that our true crime episodes about pain, torture, death, murder, kidnapping is super fun and entertaining, but so are other episodes, including the one you're listening to now, which we'll get back to in a second. But I have to remind you, if you want to have your review read on this show, no matter what it says, go to Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or the Good Pods app, rate us 5 stars, leave a written review, and I'll read it. And if you're listening on Spotify, by the way, you can rate us 5 stars in one tap at the top of our Spotify page. Thank you. Now let's get back to the discussion with Lindsay. This has been an enlightening episode, Lindsay. Thank you.
Yeah. It was interesting looking it all up.
Well, it makes you think. The shark 450 million years ago, the ostrich 66 million years ago at number 10. In 66 million years from today, will we be on some other creature's top 10 list of creatures that descended? You get what I'm saying.
Yep.
The answer is probably not. Probably won't be on that list.
How small do you think we're going to get in 66 million years?
That's the question. I'd like to think, so today, what was that guy's name? Troyer. Vern Troyer?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Mini-Me?
Mini-Me, yep.
Rest in peace, Vern Troyer. But Vern Troyer, in today's world, is considered a little person.
Mm-hmm.
2 feet 8 inches. He played Mini-Me in the Austin Powers movies. So today he's considered a little person, but in 66 million years, he's going to be considered like Goliath compared to what we've become.
We're going to be like those little green army men. That's what we're going to look like in 66 million years.
So Mini-Me will truly have the last laugh.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the last laugh, Lindsay, you've been an excellent sidekick host, and I want to make sure you have another chance to plug your podcast. Give a shout out to any recent episodes that you're proud of, any upcoming episodes that you think the Tennis Pod listeners would be interested in, and also tell them where to find you.
Sure. Thank you for having me on. It was really fun. Always a pleasure talking to you. And you know me, I love hot dogs. And
but do you like eating them over trash cans?
You know, I haven't done it in a while.
Get back to me.
I'll get back to you when I'm in the airport. So again, I'm from Ye Olde Crime podcast, where we discuss historical true crimes. You can find us wherever you listen to this podcast. For Pineapple Pizza, you can also find us wherever you're listening to this podcast. We once again talk about myths, cryptids, and urban legends from different countries around the world. And for the month of May, the episodes from Pineapple Pizza are going to be around South Africa.
Oh, good.
Those are some pretty crazy stuff from South Africa. And as far as Ye Olde Crime goes, we've had some fun interviews the first couple weeks of May. And we've got some fun murdery stories coming up at the end of the month.
Some fun murdery stories. I don't think the people murdered would call it fun, but I agree that today in 2022, it is fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Highly recommend both of those shows. I'm going to put direct links in the show notes to find Ye Olde Crime and Pineapple Pizza. And if you're looking for a good jumping off point into those podcasts, check out my episodes. I was on with Brandon. Me and Brandon were both guests on the June 5th, 2021 episode of Ye Olde Crime on one of your Can You Crack the Cramp Word minisodes.
Yep.
And that's where me and Brandon try to guess the meaning of old-timey words and phrases. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then more recently, I was a guest on the Pineapple Pizza podcast on a September 2021 episode where we took a deep dive into one of my favorite cryptids, the Loch Ness Monster.
Yep, that was a good one.
Yeah.
There was a lot of gynecology jokes in that one.
Yes, if you're into gynecology jokes, and who's not, that's the one for you.
I mean, Nessie is kind of like a front lizard, if you really think about it.
Oh, God. So now we have the front lizard for men and the Loch Ness Monster for women.
Yep.
At least they're both lizardous type creatures.
Yep.
And my last note is that, yes, pineapple does belong on pizza. It is my favorite type of pizza, and I'll fight you if you disagree.
I agree.
Lindsay, you have been a true treat. We'll have to have you on again. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for your time. And thanks also for putting all the notes together. I know from experience that takes, a good chunk of time. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks again for having me on.
All right. And to the listeners, thank you for listening. This has been episode 176 of the Tennis Podcast. I'll be back next week with Dr. Buster. Will be returning. He'll be bringing me a list to guess. I think I'm done. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
What's up, y'all? I'm David.
And I'm Justice.
And the Don't Trip podcast is now a part of Blue Wire Network. Considering getting back with an ex? Want to know if a pickup line works? Or maybe you're just stuck in the friend zone.
Don't Trip is advice at no price. And we're always going to keep it real.
We engage directly with our listeners with funny segments such as Simpin' or Pimpin', where we rate pickup lines, high questions to answer the unanswerable, or live listener call-ins.
Listen to Don't Trip on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And catch the video versions on YouTube every week.
Don't trip.
We got you.